Hey, welcome to another episode of White Lithium Eurotrash. You might notice that my audio sounds a little bit better today because I am using a wireless microphone. That's just me thinking about you, the White Lithium Eurotrash subscriber, and that's just an expression of my own care for you as my nearly 300 subscribers. This is going to be day 3 of the Saab 900 front end rejuvenation. Where I left you the other day, Liz, do you need something?
I just was gonna grab a drill.
Oh, a bit?
Yeah, a bit and a drill.
Go ahead and with this, and then this. Do you need Torx?
You need a torque, yeah.
Okay. And then bits are always down here. Where are your bits?
They're with the speaker stuff that I was installing.
Go ahead and use those right there.
Thank you.
All right. So where I left you guys the other day, we had pretty much disassembled the entire front suspension right here. I'm going to turn off this fan. I've been using some solvents pretty heavily here. And so I had the fan on to get some fresh air in the area. So where I left you the other day, we had completely disassembled the front end, and I was asking myself the question, how do I get the upper A-arms off? And of course, it turns out, which I knew deep down inside, I already knew, that essentially you have to take the entire engine out of the car to remove the upper A-arms, or do huge disassembly to the motor. And right now the juice is not worth the squeeze, so I'm going to end up saving that for some future time when we go engine out with this car, which may very well happen at some time. So I've been busying myself pretty much. So we are going to recondition, de-rust those as best as we can, and repaint them as best as we can in place. I've been doing the dirty part of the job, kind of turning the corner with the job from a nastiness standpoint by cleaning out the tunnels on both sides, which has just gone on and on and on with 40 years of accumulated crap. So I'm degreasing it, blowing it with air, degreasing it, blowing with air, getting in every little nook and cranny. That side right there is really great. This side also is in really good shape too. We do have one very small hole on this side, which for, the whole scheme of things, I think is extremely good. Extremely good. In fact, it's so small, it almost doesn't even warrant a patch. I'm sort of thinking through that. But we're degreasing and cleaning out the entire area, and there are so many little nooks and crannies to just clean stuff out of on this car. This was kind of a miss by Saab, not thinking enough about how material was going to avoid getting trapped in there. So we've kind of now crossed the threshold with this job of between disassembly and reassembly. So now what I'm going to do, I think I could go a couple different directions today. We could start sandblasting and refinishing the lower A-arms and some other pieces. Honestly, I think I'm going to hold on that until I'm ready to do all of the sandblasting and refinishing of components in one fell swoop. I wasn't able to get the spring off the driver's side with the other techniques, so I have a different spring compressor coming tomorrow, which will allow me to do that with some other parts too. So I think what I'm going to do today is go through the steering rack, and we're going to kind of finish our assessment, clean it up, start trying to rebuild it, and start kind of mentally preparing to put the steering rack back on the car. All right, so let's start by getting these tie rod ends off. And I think we're gonna go about that by cutting the crimped sections and relieving that pressure off of here. To do that, we will probably use this cutoff tool. Let's get a battery quick. This is where girlfriends express their opinions about the quantity of rims and tires that you have. And I'm explaining that I need these wheels and tires. You can't just get rid of them or quote unquote sell them, as she says. God, what if we need a Saab 900 steel rim to put some winter tires on or something? What do we do? What do we do? Go. Exactly. End of discussion. All right, let's see what we do. We're gonna have to do this very sensitively. We just need to kind of loosen it a little bit to the point where I can free it up. Yeah. It'd be nice to have the right tools for the job, but we don't have those here in the white lithium Eurotrash job. Maybe over at the quality YouTube channels like Seaside Garage, and which I love that guy, the Danish guy. He's one of the best mechanics on YouTube, I'll tell you that much. He's one of the good ones. And he does interesting cars too, so sometime when this channel blows up to maybe like 500 subscribers, who knows? Maybe I'll be able to get a shout out from the guy at Seaside Garage. Love his sequence on the Citroens. I'm planning on moving into Citroen pretty quickly here too. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a bad one. Okay. All right. Well, so now I've gently relieved this tie rod end of enough steel where I can probably safely get an actual wrench on here so that we don't, there's no way we're going to be putting that amount of stress onto, well, got to take a little bit more onto our poor steering gears because this thing's on here pretty tight, that's for sure. Now we got some ability to get some purchase and we got that loose. Let's see how good I am. Did I even put any? See, even if you nick the part right here with that grinder, it's no big deal because the maximum stress concentration, hopefully you can see, is obviously gonna be right here at the smaller diameter where it meets the shoulder. You know, the part of this rack that needs to be the strongest is right there in that little corner. So right up here on the flats, if we give it a little nick, that's not the end of the world. That is a, ooh, dude, that's a tie rod end that's been around for a bit. Survivor of a tie rod end. I wonder if it's the original one. You know, the car technically only has 120,000 original miles on it. It's just been around. All right, now we've liberated both ends of this steering rack. Got some gunk in this end. Let's go in and let's just give this thing a really good cleaning quick, and then let's go look at the seal kit that I bought and see kind of what all's in it and what we're gonna do here. A little follow-up from yesterday's video. We're gonna do a quick front suspension diagnosis on what is this, Astrid? Somebody hit this with a hammer, and so it's like gonna be hard to get something threaded onto. Oh, it's just, you're gonna feel kind of out of touch. You need sway bar bushings, which will be like $10, The struts, probably 300 for the set of 2. And I'll see if I have the used idle air control valve. And then it'll, like, the way this thing drives for you will feel like, it'll feel like a new car.
So next steps, gather parts, come back at a time that works for you guys?
Yeah, we can do this. I got to get this project out of the garage before I can put anything else in.
Okay.
But, so it'll be a couple weeks, but there's no reason you can't be daily driving this.
Right on.
Okay, take it easy, Sandy. Just stand back, ways. I'm running? Oh.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, stop, and then create a new segment. Whoa. Oh. Whoa. The end of my wand is a little bit dirty. We're getting dirty. Come on through, buddy. So Rose in Ithaca, her late husband had a Saab, mechanic shop in Ithaca, New York, and he, of course, because great universities typically attracted a lot of Saab ownership. In fact, as anyone who loves Saab knows that owning a Saab is a greater predictor of your political leanings than any other variable. And Saab actually leaned into this. They were kind of Subaru before Subaru introduced the lesbian campaign. They understood that university professors were, and kind of intellectuals were the centerpiece of Saab ownership. And so, right around Ithaca, New York, you've got obviously a great university there. And Rose's husband had a shop, just accumulated Saabs. At one point, I think they had like 100 Saabs of various types there. And when he passed away, she began selling them off piece by piece. And I think they're pretty much at the end of the road there. Rose's Saab Parts Pro on eBay, and she's helped me out with a lot of stuff before, this is before I met, Saab sickness in, Utah, or now Mateus in Poland is supplying me with a lot of stuff. So, okay. If you look right in here, you can actually see the gears. Right in there, maybe you can see them turn a little bit. See if I can turn it. You see that? See it turning in there? It's the worm turning on the spline. Wow, there's a bunch of crap in there. We need to keep going. Wow. All right, I don't want the seals inside the cylinder to be sitting dry, so I'm just going to introduce a little bit more, even though it will inevitably make a mess as it comes out while I'm working on this. I do want to introduce a little bit of fluid into the cylinder. Oh, I've already made a mess. And we will just kind of move this to, there we go. Typically in hydraulic systems, you've got a small hole here and a big hole here. Typically the small hole is high pressure and the big hole is low pressure, so the return is the low pressure. All right, so there's going to be some sort of check valve in this system. Oh, like we're kind of bleeding it. That's cool. Let's see. You can also see if any fluid. Oh, look at that nasty fluid. Yeah, we want to get all this out of here. We want to just cycle fresh fluid into this, and all right, so we're at the end of the travel right there. Let's go back the other way. Maybe my previous statement about pressure and return was wrong. Let's see. No, I don't think it was. Whoa, okay. Wow, look at that, okay. Smarter guy than me would obviously have a tray under this job, but fortunately a smarter guy than me that is not here right now. You just got me. Guys, I need to just show you something quick here. My girlfriend has just thrown away this perfectly good rag right here. Man, when you look at how dirty things are, you can't just throw this bad boy away. I could use this on the floor. I could use this on something really nasty. I could use it right now, in fact. God, I can't even believe. I'm telling you, in terms of girlfriends, I've got a really great one. And she's really handy. She's great. But sometimes I just don't understand them. Like, they want perfection. Like, girlfriends just don't understand Occam's razor. Sometimes you're just playing a long game, okay? Long game. Not everything can be perfect. You got sometimes, and with cars, you know, it's like, it's a work in process. Perpetual work in process. You think you get to have a 1984 Saab turbo and just have it be perfect right away? No, it's a game that's going to play out over years. Well, that's going to be the same with a relationship, a yard, you know, a business. You name it, it's going to be the same. All right, let's just keep flushing this thing out. Let's just keep flushing. Without further ado, we have here an Edelman power steering repair kit. Well, anybody who's dug around on this has realized that there are a bunch of people that feel like this repair kit is a very imperfect repair kit. And I know that there was definitely some variation. That's weird. Why is it open? Definitely some variation in the steering racks over the years. Okay. I've never opened this before. Why is this open? You know what the hey? Let's just go for it. So obviously the diameter is bigger here than down here, and the spline is right here because that's where, you know, the input shaft is with the worm and the pinion gear. So obviously the hydraulic stuff, and look at these connections right here. You have the piston is moving in this area right here, okay? Pretty small area right here. So let's actually go the distance. Let's try and get this thing out. I'm learning on the job here. I've never actually done this before. The last time on the white car, I actually just went and bought a rebuilt one. So I'm definitely gonna have to get this shaft out first, all right? Let's go. Now, before any of you go and start thinking less of me because of these lame, pathetic snap ring pliers I have beautiful snap ring pliers. In fact, they're at my other home. I just needed a stopgap pair for this job because, as I said, in Milwaukee, I have I primarily have only Japanese tools, and I have a set of Engineer brand snap ring pliers on order, but they've got to come obviously from Japan. So let's see if we can't get this shaft out here first. All right, we've relieved ourselves of the first snap ring. Now let's see how Obviously, nothing's going back in here, so I'm gonna get this seal out. Let's see here. I do not want to have to drill a hole into it, but that is one way. Is this metal? Wow, we got a metal one in here. Damn it. Okay, so we are gonna have to drill a hole in it. Hold on. So I'm missing a drill bit out of my set here, and I'm pretty sure that the girlfriend has something to do with it, but I'm afraid to actually ask her, because if I do, she's probably gonna not speak to me for, you know, weeks at the minimum. So let's see here. I love how Milwaukee, this great company, designs a drill index, something with sharp metal that you have to touch in a way that you can't get your goddamn bit out of it without something else. It's the dumbest design I've ever seen. Oh! Come on, baby. Smaller bit. Let's get in there with stupid fucking drill index. What a dumbass drill index. That should be criminal to design a drill index that fucking stupid. God. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a little hole in there. Can I use that to kind of pry this seal out? We can, all right. So that's just a protective part, which, I don't know. Man, I might be digging myself in deep here. Oh, now we got the another piece in here. Can I get this one out too? Oh, come on. This is the point. This is the point at which you're like, well, there's a, oh, let's get a bunch of metal shavings in there. Smart. Smart. This is the point at which you're like, well, the probability that I'm going to end up buying a professionally, quote unquote, rebuilt one is just going up and up and up. All right. Here's those two pieces. Do I have pieces analogous to those in here? Maybe. Yeah, I do. Hey, how about that? All right. So we've got that off. Whoa, let's get, before we get any deeper in here, let's get those little metal shavings out. Eye protection. I'm wearing it. Let's just see here. If I get this pick into here, I can kind of get this out a little bit, right? At least see what it is, what kind of component it is. Okay, that is a bearing. So we go from the seals to a needle bearing. Excellent, excellent. All right, so now we're into the brass tacks. Let's see what's actually in here. Now we're into the spool valve. I'll tell you what, boys. I don't think I'm gonna screw with this, actually. I think I'm gonna put a new seal in here and count my blessings, and we're gonna move on. Otherwise, I am gonna potentially dig myself into a $700 deep hole that I don't wanna be in. Because honestly, I'll rebuild this another day with another, I'll rebuild that steering rack that I have sitting over there, and I'll sell it to somebody or give it to somebody who needs it. That'll be my sort of holiday charity, Saab style holiday charity. Let's just clean this bad boy up right here. This is obviously lubricated by oil because otherwise we don't need a relatively high pressure seal. When I look at these seals, not that one, Let's look at the one for this shaft. Looks like we got this seal. This is called a U-cup, all right? And this is a U-cup because it's shaped like a U in the cross section, and it has this little spring around it. That spring is called an energizer that keeps tension on the lips right here. All right, so we're gonna go, what order did we do this in? We had the two pieces, so it's back up right here. So if you think about this component, this is called a U-cup right here, but it also has this other lip on the other side. This is called a wiper, right? So when you look at this component, it has a relief in it, and the relief obviously goes this way so that it doesn't interfere with the wiping action of the seal on this side right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this one back in. You know what, I'm gonna actually oil it slightly. Oh man, oh, it's a press fit, actually. Oh, it's a press fit, hang on. Let's go, we're just gonna give it a little silicone in there. Just a little something to lubricate the lips as it goes in. It's a press fit on the outside. Let's just kind of. All right, we got that in, and we've got this secondary lip seal in. They have included in my kit a new snap ring, but we're just gonna go around here in my groove, clean the groove. There's a lot, whoa! Good thing I got the seals in there because that's a lot of crap in the groove. We don't like crap in our grooves. That's for sure. Last time I had crap in my groove, oh man, I was at a nightclub in Chicago, that's for sure. All right, so got that cleaned out. I think I'm going to do something messy but nice for somebody in the future, and I'm going to put just a tiny bit of this Never Sees on the outside of this snap ring. Just so that inevitably when it needs to get rebuilt again, because I put it on the car and it ends up leaking, and I curse Rose from Ithaca, curse her name or yell her blessings, one of the two. One of those two things will happen. But she told me according to Rose from Ithaca, it didn't leak before when the car was put in, when we took the car apart. I was like, okay. You've never done me wrong, Rose. You've never done me wrong. So let's hope she's right. Let's make sure that bad boy's fully seated in the groove, is it? Just give that snap ring a little tap, because this snap ring is what's holding all that pressure. Now, I don't think, power steering pumps are not super, super high pressure systems. At least I don't think so. My theory, based on, the type of pump you have in these systems, is that it's like, it's a gear pump. And, maybe it's a few hundred PSI, maybe 500 PSI, who knows? We'll see. Maybe the pressure is proportioned to the amount of force, but there we go. All right, we've got a new seal in there. Let's move on. Now we've got two of my favorite brands in quality automotive parts. We've got Bison Performance. Oh, it's USA owned. What quality? Limited lifetime warranty. Wow. I guess we're gonna just have to believe them, right? But when you're a Saab owner, beggars can't be choosers, as we know. All right, we've got this right here. Whoa, it's got a little smidge of grease in it. That's nice. Seems like the original. Well, let's test that. Is it? Is it roughly the same length? It's not exactly the same. I mean, when you look at it, like, who knows what this previous part is, but it's more likely original than this. We're longer here at the one end, right? Okay. I don't love it because it looks just like, it looks like I'm gonna have to use every bit of thread at this end to accomplish the same length. Let's just look at that quick. Let's take this other quality tie rod end right here and let's see if we can achieve the same length. Oh my word, it's raining. Thank goodness we spent all morning watering the plants. Sisyphean, or is it Sisyphusian? I never know, but much of life, including much of home ownership, much of car ownership, much of marriage and relationships, it's all Sisyphean. One of the old Sisyphus, everybody's best friend, everybody's best Greek friend, other than the guy that makes the euros. Boom, all right, 86,900, thanks for that. All right, let's see here. Can we achieve the same overall length with this new arrangement? Because if not, let's do a cursory look. It is, geez, it's very close. Let's see how threaded in the other side was. I'll tell you what, boys, we're gonna send it. We're sending it with what we've got. You know, in hindsight, we all really love Donald Rumsfeld. What a smart guy. If only we had guys as smart as Donald Rumsfeld in government today. Okay, now for the other quality brands. Beck Arnley. Man, what a quality piece these guys give you. We got one clamp, but where's the other? Oh, come on, guys. That is really sad. One clamp. What does a guy do with one goddamn clamp? And I am not putting hose clamps on this. Okay, part number 2 has a wire tie. For God's sakes. One. All right, so I guess they're intending me to use the old parts. Fine. You win. You win, Beck Arnley. I will use the old parts. Which means I have to liberate them from the other frickin' parts. Tell you what, there is zero chance that I am going to be putting those old rusty hose clamps on here, so let's just go ahead and plan on getting some more of those tomorrow. But to get this all to slide on here, I think I'm gonna put on a little white lithium on the inside of this thing right here. Hang on. Damn it, you're not even open. I'm doing a sanity check here and just like laying the old rack that came off the car up against this end to end, trying to be as precise in the alignment as I can be on each end. And it's very close. In fact, the new assembly, the rebuilt assembly, is about an 1/8 inch shorter. So I'm a little bit upset that I'm so screwed all the way in on both of the tie rod ends, because now I don't have any range of adjustment. I also know that the alignment that was on the car before I pulled off the rack was a bad alignment. So I think we're sort of in hope for the best territory here. All right, well, I need to actually pay attention to my girlfriend instead of just standing out here in the garage. So I think we're gonna call this an episode. This was a very, very sort of slow moving episode actually. Let's see, but you know, let's call it there. In other news, I broke down and I bought a hydraulic press for the shop. I can't live without one anymore. So, anywho, that's gonna just make life so much easier when we move into the next steps here, because we're kind of turning the corner. Now it's time to start putting parts back onto the car. Before we do very much with like the axles and everything like that, I'm gonna like really super clean, degrease, paint, and apply sort of an undercoating type material to the tunnels for the steering rack and the drive shafts. So I really can't put any of that stuff back on. So the way it's gonna go, we're gonna get the steering rack back on, or the power steering pump, and then we're gonna hopefully get some paint and some, you know, that coating tomorrow, which will then let me reinstall the rack, and then I'll install the power steering hoses. While I'm under there, I want to take a look at the input bushing on the transmission. Something looked a little weird to me in there. But anyways, peace out. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you for subscribing. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm trying to respond to each and every one of you as we build this channel. And thank you for tuning in to White Lithium Eurotrash. Peace.